hello, and welcome to the Heart, Mind, and Morning Show. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Happy Saturday.
We are getting maybe feedback, but I'm sure we're going to clear that up right away.
Oh, here we go, y'all. Here we go.
Oh,
Please don't mention it. Do not
I
mention it.
won't.
I am so ready to get into the show tonight. First of all, it's your girl, Coach Shalonda. We have your girl, Sirius K. Hello, Joy. And
hello.
Queen A. Hey, our hype girl of the year. Well, I'll tell you, it has been a week full of emotions. I would say there has been there's so much that's going on beside, the infamous pandemic and, everything that comes with it. It seemed like everything is being birthed, good, bad, ugly, indifferent. Everything you can think of is just being birthed. It seemed like it's being birthed apart from the pandemic. So I would say a lot of emotions, and then we're still. I wouldn't say that. I think we're losing a lot of people still. I don't know if it's the same amount as last year, but it's definitely a lot of people are just dying left and right, and it's like it just makes you mindful. It makes me mindful of what am I doing, as service to society, to my family. What am I doing as a human being, me being put here on this earth? Am I fulfilling purpose? What am I fulfilling? So it really makes you go back and really think about your life. You think about, your children, those that are, parents. That's the majority of the world.
Right.
It makes you think about a whole lot. Like, wow, am I doing something worthy? Am I leaving a legacy? Am I making a difference? So that
Right.
is something HMB fam for all of us to think about. And we're so glad to be with you tonight. Girls, tell me, how have your week been going? Go ahead. Let us all not start at once.
Well, my week has been pretty good.
Okay.
work, work, school, house, wife.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's been going well. I need to hurry up and to get my picture sent in for the virtual graduation.
Yes.
I had Jamie take some, and we were kind of in a rush, and so my stall was all crooked. So I got to hurry up and get that sent in. I mean, it's always something, and I have to put everything in my notes on my phone or in the calendar, or I won't remember even the small stuff like that.
Tell me
So,
about
but other than that, yeah, this week has been pretty good, pretty productive, and hey, ready for next week.
Yeah.
Queen A. How's your week?
My week has been really, it was really good. I was decompressing this weekend, so it was a little bit of like I felt a little sluggish, but I have seen some great things occur this week. So it's been a blessing, and it's really been good, and I'm excited because a lot of great opportunities came in for me this past week.
Oh, well, congratulations. That's a great thing. It's good to hear in the midst of all that's going on, everything that's going on. It's good to hear some good news because we need to hear it.
Life is not without its challenges. That's just life. It's a part of
Yeah,
life. It's a matter of how you respond to those challenges, and
absolutely.
and how you press on. And I'm the type of person, I press on.
Yeah,
So
yeah, you do. Both of you ladies, from what I know, and I've been knowing you for a long time. Yeah, I've been knowing you. And Queen, they've been knowing you for a long time. That's the good thing about our show history, amongst us. So we've been knowing each other, so we know just how strong we are. We know the good, the bad, the ugly. Once again, being different, and so being able to understand life, like you mentioned, Queen A, that it's a part of life. Everything that's going on, you're right. It is a part of life.
right, yes.
Why don't you educate us a little bit? We want just a little bit of
No. Here we go. Here we go. See, I was going to try to be. What? I'm gonna save that conversation for the Patreon. So
We're
that's
gonna
what.
say for okay. So Please, please, please like, share, subscribe to our YouTube, join the Patreon because I'm telling you, Queen A got some nuggets for your ears, some things you definitely want to hear, some upcoming things. Like I don't know if you want to hear that, but hey, it's good to be in the know. It's
Yeah.
always good to be. I'd rather be in the know than in the not.
You know,
So
I would say this, but you know, look, so you got me started.
go ahead.
I'm not gonna get into it, but I would, you know, I would say this. You know, I was doing my research, right? You know, because for those Bible scholars out there or who's very religious, you know, I'm religious, but I'm more so spiritual. And you know, you all know that I definitely am a believer of Christ, of God, and but I also study the mysteries and the sciences of of life and of God, of course. So one of the things is that it's astrology, and I would say this: you know, it is important to know where you are in life, and that comes through prayer, and as well as astrology, which is a tool that you use to gain further clarity. Of course, God always are the one who give you that clarity through prayer, and through knowledge of the Bible, through wisdom. But also, you know, when you learn a little bit about astrology, you know, your chart, you know, it's like it's the three wise men when they were looking for Jesus, they said they knew because of the star. That's a
Mm,
sign, y'all. That's astrology.
yes.
So you know, so it is very interesting to know when you were born, what's going on in the times, and that comes from like knowing the stars, just like the wise men said. So I just say that. So I'll just leave it at that for now. And it's just it is important just to understand where you are in your life, and that comes through, of course, prayer, and then also learning about your chart, learning about who you are. And guess what? Even when you learn your chart, you still learning yourself to the day you die. You find out more and more about who you are. And it comes through understanding where your star was at the time that you were born. Just like the three wise men, they said to Jesus, I knew because of the star.
Yeah, I want to mention I'm such a YouTuber. Like I watch so much. I'm subscribed to so many channels because I'm always learning and I'm nosy. And I want to stay in the know. But I was watching one and I can't remember exactly which one it was, but they were reading a book and the book was like inspirational. I don't know if it was a Yana. It was one of them. It was inspirational. It was either Yana or something affiliated with her. It could have been maybe Evan.
It's a lot of feedback.
It's a lot of feedback. I hear a lot of feedback, and I hear myself. Maybe if we try. Okay, so I still hear it. But anyway, it was a book, and the book was talking about discovering your North Star. So it's interesting that you say that. But the book, and it was an inspiration. I think it was a y'all, if I'm not mistaken. Forgive me, y'all, if I'm wrong. But I think it was from her YouTube because I was watching her YouTube this morning, and then I was watching someone else. I just can't remember who that little person was, and of course the one this evening, but they were not inspirational. It was
And
just
but like what I love to study different cultures. And one of the things is with the Indian culture is that a lot of times this is of course in the traditional old time, you know, how they practice, years ago, but some of them still follows tradition to this day, where they very much believe in believe in the star sign and so forth, and they match you with your mate, which is interesting, according to your star sign. So it tells a lot about your destiny. Like we all have this thing called a North Node, which is our destiny. Just like what they said, the North Star, which is part of the North Node, which is a part of destiny. So it's an interesting topic, but we'll get all into that when you join Patreon.
Yeah, we get to talk about a lot of stuff on Patreon that we don't want to share here. So I can't wait to get on Patreon because, like I say, y'all know I'm pretty secretive, but I got a lot of stuff to share on Patreon. So y'all make sure y'all sign up with the VIP membership, $20 a month, and you get all the goodies and you get the t-shirts and you get all the good stuff. I need to find out how I can get some of that stuff.
that's right. And believe us when we say Patreon. That's why we're encouraging tune in because if Serious Case says she got a lot of secrets. And please understand that a lot of things we cannot say on YouTube, and it's just not us. It's
Yeah.
content creators across the board. Some things, that's why a lot of content creators create Patreon to educate, to share things, and to get into the nitty gritty of things that we need to know, that we need to become aware of, because some things you just cannot say. Although it may seem like, well, they say a lot. I hear people say a lot.
Yeah.
But join some Patreons and you'll really get the nitty gritty. So let's move on.
Yeah.
Before we move on to the show, I just want to mention again, we have our Patreon link in the comments. So please join. We also want you to like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube, like and share on our Facebook page. And also, we want to pay homage to the comedian that passed away this week, Anthony Johnson. He played on several movies, but what was one of the well-known? Was it Players Club? Well,
Friday.
Friday. Friday. I thought it was Players Club too, but yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
you Players Club. You're right. Every Friday.
Mhm.
So he was extremely funny. He was a little short guy. He was very funny to me. Was he the one Friday? He was with the luggage, right, running across the yard like he was shooting.
Yeah. Ezel.
That's right. Yes.
Mhm.
So a lot of funny moments with him. So our hearts, prayers, our thoughts and prayers go out to the family because we definitely understand. When you lose a loved one, it's not at all easy. So our thoughts and prayers go out to you. And also, we want to give a very special birthday shout out to our producer, Cedric.
Yes. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
We need some confetti and streamers coming down.
Y'all, we
Yeah,
are
right.
working on our what do you call the claps, the confetti,
My animations, right?
all of our animation, all
Yeah.
of our extras. We are working on that. So just hang in there with us. We are working on it. But this week was her birthday. We just want to wish her a very happy birthday. We hope that she got everything that she wanted, that she requested, her
Yeah.
desire. So again, happy birthday. And we love you, Quindry. Bye.
Yeah.
She's like, happy birthday. So let's get into our show, y'all. It's so much going on. Oh my God. Just hold on. We're going to talk about, I know it's a lot of pressing stuff that people want to talk about and want to hear about. But, one thing that we definitely want to get off into real quick and just share I would say some of the mental impact this particular situation can have on an individual. And it's bringing up the Nicki Minaj husband victim, how she actually shared on national TV, her experience and, her going through what she was going through. She was on the real. So she talked about what she was actually experiencing and how they tried to, kind of settle with her, like make her an offer and try to make everything go away. And how they tried to, I guess make it lesser than what it was, as far as like, this was, like you were first it was like she was 15, he was 16, then she was like we were both 16 and we were not dating, so it was rape. And I don't know if you guys saw it, but just the emotions that she expressed on that interview, as if it happened yesterday, as if it happened 30 minutes before. She was crying and she was heartbroken. So again, they're in their 40s. He's 43. If they're the same age, she's that age as well, or will be that age, before the year end. And, we don't know why, now, but we do know that she expressed how she's been harassed and how she's had to move so many times because of the harassment, that her family has received, she's received. And so we just want to talk about the mental impact, because I believe all those emotions, like, I mean, yes, she was hurt from years and years and years ago, but I believe it was because of the mental impact that now the harassment that she's getting from, from the actual accuser, accused, the person that actually the rapist, along with his wife is forced, okay, we'll make you an offer. Okay, she even mentioned that somebody put $20,000 in her lap, and she was like, no, she doesn't want that. It happened, and and that's the real deal. It happened, and how she said, okay, well, we're going to give someone this $20,000 and make it all go away. You know what they meant by that. So, you ladies, you tell me, what do you think about this situation? Go ahead, Serious K. Let me know. What do you think about this? Uh oh.
I'm sorry, y'all. My mic was muted. But it was very unfortunate that this happened, and very sad too the way that she's getting attacked, because this is the very reason why some women won't come out and won't talk about it. They're afraid of the ridicule, the shame behind it, people judging them, saying things like, "Oh, she wanted it," or "What's in it for her," or so. I think that she was brave. I'm glad that she came out, and hopefully, whatever type of justice that she's looking for, she gets the justice that she's looking for, and hopefully, it's fair.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. With having a if my spouse was accused of this, I don't know how I would respond. I don't know that I would pay his debt. I don't know. I mean, so it seems like Nikki may feel like, I want to give her this money to hush her up. I'm not sure. Or she feels like he didn't do it. So let me give her this money, or whatever reason. But I am proud of the lady for coming out and talking about whatever it is, because, like they say, no means no. It doesn't matter. You could be in the middle of it. If that woman says, no, I don't want this, that's rape.
Yeah.
So,
True.
yeah, and so that's just what it is. So I mean, because we all have the right to our body, we all have the right to say no. And again, I'm proud of her for coming out, and I just hope that the truth comes out about the whole thing. And I'm really curious to know what I mean. Has he spoken out yet? Has he said anything about this?
I
You
haven't heard him. I haven't heard him say one word.
know,
Yeah, and that's strange
I
too.
don't know, but yeah, I
mhm.
know I
Yeah.
haven't. So yeah, you're right, Serious K. Queen A, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I want to be very sensitive to the topic because, maybe
Yeah.
some of our audience who've been through this situation, it I've never been abused in that type of way. So I can't even understand, or imagine so much what they must feel. But I have coached women who have been in that situation. So just from understanding that, and one of my questions is, well, why wait for so long? And I know so many emotions go through, like you feel embarrassed, you don't want to deal with the hurt of it. And I remember having a family member come to me, and she was, molested at the age of 13, and she came to me in her 30s, and I'm like, and the first thing I thought of, what is is it a lie?
Yeah.
And that's what many people tend to think, like this is a lie. Um,
Mhm.
and because it's like it's hard to believe, because if you hadn't been in the situation, it's hard to
Right.
see some of the signs or believe the person. And so the question is, why wait for so long?
So
And of
long.
course, to the one who have been abused, you want to seek justice. And you look at a person, now all of a sudden they're getting fame, and you like, well, wait a minute, like people are like, this person's in a great position in life, and they getting all this glory and accolades, and I'm suffering because of abuse that occurred to me. So now the first thing is, you may want to speak up about it.
Yeah.
But then that also may give you the ammunition to kind of say, you know what, I need to heal from it. But it was a little concerning about, and maybe like her body language. So again, I don't want to, I want to be very sensitive to the topic, but her body language was a little just a little, again, I haven't been in that situation, but the way she handled it, she was very like much in a childlike state.
Yeah.
And so that was just kind of questionable. But again, she could have been hurt, and the reminders of speaking about it, of course, because she's been threatened. So that's another
Yeah.
reason why. So it's
Uh-huh.
a very sensitive topic, but I'm glad that she's coming out and she's dealing with it. That's the first thing, is that she's dealing with it. She's dealing with the hurt. She's speaking up, and maybe she can, go on with her life, and no money, no amount of money can pay for that.
No.
So, mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it's a really hard situation, and like you said, just you do want to be sensitive to this, and you do wonder, you know, why wait? Because we know we've experienced others, you know, public situations where women have experienced sexual assault from
Now, I would have
other.
taken the money. I would have taken the money and told it. No joke. No, I just always got to joke about stuff, y'all. I'm
Yes,
joking.
because it is such a heavy topic, but
Right.
for
Yeah.
other celebrities, have had people to accuse them. We know about the Cuomo brothers. I
Hmm.
don't know if you guys heard about the other one now has been accused of the one that's on the news.
Hmm.
He's
Yeah.
been accused of just grazing or hugging someone so
Yeah.
tight to where his hand may have touched a very private part of the body, and
Yeah. Yeah.
he apologized for it and everything, and we don't know, but it was like 16 years ago, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
she
her
got.
situation is almost what, like 30 years, almost like 20 something years. So,
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So it does bring up a concern, and you do
Yeah.
wonder, as just the human, it's just human nature. You do wonder, like, okay,
Yeah. But
what?
there's so many reasons,
Yeah,
people wait so many.
right,
Sometimes the abuser threatens the person's life. If you ever
right,
tell anybody, I'll kill you or I'll
right.
kill your family. And, you know, and they
and she
take that
mentioned that.
seriously
She
because
mentioned that she was
that
threatened.
person has hurt them. So of course,
Yeah,
so they believe it. They like, oh yeah, this person's or the popularity of that person. It's like this person is so popular, they may not believe it. Or this person
Right,
puts up
right.
this great image, this positive image, they may not believe it, and everybody's gonna come down on me because everybody's gonna be on this person's side
yeah,
because who am I? I'm nobody.
and
Right.
So
she
there's
mentioned.
so many reasons, and there are other reasons as well. But like you say, we want to be very sensitive to the topic. So
Yes.
there's so
And
many reasons why.
she did mention that she was threatened, that her life has been threatened,
Right.
by them now, by
Mhm.
them as far as, hey, let's make this go away. Besides, but she's not taking the offer. It is a lawsuit. I don't know the details of that lawsuit, if it's,
Yeah,
Right.
if it concerns, if it's money or whatever the situation may be, but her life has been threatened. She says she's had to move so many times. So I think,
Mhm.
just the weight of all of that, it has mentally, just by the way, you saw her, and you're right, like she was in a childlike state. She was just almost looked defeated. And
Mhm.
she held her hand down, and she was sitting just with her legs closed up tight,
Mhm.
and just like, don't touch me, or I'm so afraid. You could see fear all over
Mhm.
her body. She just did not know what to expect,
yeah,
and being on national TV, that everybody's going to hear, the story, and being able to walk outside that door after, she just, you can only imagine the torture that she's feeling, the inner torment
Mhm.
that
yeah,
she's
Right.
experiencing, that she's
Mhm.
going through. So we really hope that things will work out, for her and her family. I don't, whatever justice is due, we pray that it is served, you know, for the situation. And we encourage, because a lot of women go through things, and like you said, they get threatened. If you say something, we're going to do this, and so they don't, and they may just one day get that boldness or that courage to say something about being raped. I mentioned, here was a very interesting thing that I said I was going to mention on the show. I wanted to ask you ladies and get your point of view. um, One person said that rape is a whole lot different from getting groped or grazed by a stranger. Like a stranger rape you, that's like traumatic. But if a stranger grab your butt, or grab your breast, or touch you in the front, that's not as traumatic. A stranger, not a friend, not someone that that you're messing around with, but a complete total stranger. Being raped is way worse, way more worse than just being groped by that same stranger. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I kind of agree with it.
Hmm.
Because I honestly I think about times that when I was clubbing all the time, guys act like they they're passing by you and then they grope you and then you like, you kind of slap their hand like, what are you doing? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's insulting, and it makes you mad, it pisses you off. But being raped, yeah, that's something that's a inner scar. It just stays with you like
Mhm.
for a long time. And it's traumatic, it's mental, it plays on your mental
Right.
capacity and all of that. So yeah.
Queen A, what are your thoughts on that?
Um, well, I've been in a situation. I mean, thank God I didn't get raped, but I've been in a situation where I met someone and we were going out. I think we went out maybe 3 times. Although I should not have gone to his house. I think it was more like a setup where he
Mm.
asked me to pick him up, and he said he wasn't fully dressed yet. He still has some business to conduct in his home and everything. And me, I was a little skeptical, but I wasn't thinking too much of it. I'm like, well, we've been out 3 times already. And I went into his house, and it was kind of weird because he asked me to come into the basement. So that should have been a red flag right there. So when
Yeah.
he asked me to come in the basement, like it was just something was just funny and off. And at the minute that I noticed it, I told him
Mhm.
that I had to go. And at that point, he grabbed me, and he was very strong and muscular. So he did try, but it's when I tell you, it took everything in me to fight this man
To
off.
find
And
out.
Yeah.
right. And I was scratching him. I would, and at the time I wasn't saved. So I was, believe me when I tell you, I was calling Christ like, and
Right.
and I was
Yeah.
praying like, just, and it took everything. And I yelled. And then he had other guys, they came downstairs and tried to hold me down as well. So I can't even tell you what happened. I kind of blacked out. I know he didn't rape me or anything like that, but I kind of blacked out. And all of a sudden, the strength came over me. And when I tell you, I was fighting like hell. And
Yeah.
and I bit him, and I kicked him and everything, and he got up. I guess he just was like, this is just too much, because I was yelling at the top of my lungs, and he just was like, this is just too much. One of his friends was like, just let it go. And then I ran out of there. And I was so I was so afraid, and I sat there and I cried the
Yeah.
whole night, because I'm like, I can't believe I was in that position.
You were
So
actually assaulted. That
yeah,
was
right,
that
right.
was yeah.
So thank God that he did not rape me. But so I can't even imagine how people may feel when it's somebody that you don't know as opposed to someone that you may know. But
Right.
just to be in that situation is a horrible situation,
Yeah.
especially when it's your body and you have someone violating your
Mhm.
body. Because once you say no, it's no. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say there's different types of trauma?
oh
Of
yeah.
course. Oh yes.
And that's what came out. I just wanted to hear your point of view. But for
Hmm.
me,
Mhm,
understanding it,
mhm.
because I've been assaulted, understanding it, there's different types. I've been groped. And
Hmm.
there's different types of trauma.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
yeah, it's different from rape. It's a different type, but
Mhm.
it's a magnitude to it.
And
Yeah.
A
and
complete
some may not
total
even
stranger. Go ahead, Queen A.
some people may not even know it is a trauma. Um, and sometimes things happen which become a trigger, and you like wonder why you triggered by certain things,
Hmm.
and and because it's something, a traumatic experience that happened that you may not even be aware. And Coach Lon, I mentioned this to you earlier. We were talking about the Johari window.
Oh,
So that's a the Patreon topic, y'all. But Johari window, knowing when you have blind spots where something triggers you and you don't even recognize that it's a trigger,
Hmm.
and it causes you to be kind of stuck
Hmm.
or afraid or fearful to move forward. So
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's something heavy, and I hate, we're talking about this heavy topic of rape, and we're getting ready to go into another heavy topic. But I
oh
promise
God,
you,
I know.
it will get better. Just hold on. They're gonna be like, Lord, what was this? The sad show tonight? But
But
we want
sometimes you have
to.
to. Sometimes
Yeah,
you have to go deep.
we have
Sometimes
to
you
be.
have to talk about topics that is, because you never know who listening who may need to hear it or may need some type
Hmm.
of support. And by
Yeah.
the way, if you feel, because we have some coaches and therapists on here, so if you definitely feel like you need some support, email heart mind and voice show at well, okay, what is it,
Heart,
heart mind
mind,
and voice
heart,
Or my
mind,
voice.
at
heart, mind,
gmail
voice
at
show at
gmail.com. Okay, there we go.
Right. Heart Mind Voice Show. Producer, put that in the comments. Our email, heartmindvoiceshow@gmail.com. Definitely, someone will reach out to you for sure. Definitely. So we
And we
want to
have
get,
resources.
yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. So we want to
Mhm.
get off into this other heavy topic. You guys, I'm sure, have seen the pictures. Oh my God, I don't even want to tell you. And I pray I don't get emotional, but I don't even want to tell you when I first saw these pictures of the U.S. Border Patrol handling, the Haitians. Oh my God. And let me tell you, when I first saw these pictures, before I even had a conversation with someone, but when I first saw these pictures, I literally thought someone was making a statement about Black history. And I call me Jabbar, call me whatever. But I really thought someone was making a statement about Black history. And I was very passive about it. I was like, oh, okay, I'll look at it later. Literally.
Mhm.
And then I had a conversation with someone and they mentioned it. And I'm like, it never clicked. And I was like, no, they were like, did you hear how the U.S. Border Patrol is how they're handling the Haitians? And they were trying to compare the difference of how they handle the Haitians versus the Mexicans that, they were handled totally different. And
Mhm.
it never clicked. I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh, that's pretty bad. I'm just saying, oh, that's pretty bad, not thinking that this is what was displaying all over social media. I'm still out there
Mhm.
dumb and dead. And then I don't know if I saw the news. I don't know what I watched. And when I saw those pictures, and I'm like, this is real time. This is like happening right now, today. If that's
Mhm.
not a slavery picture, and I'm like, the mindset of those people, the mindset of the man that had that, they tried to correct and say, oh, it's not a whip, it's something else. I don't care what kind of rope it was. I don't care what it was. Whatever little fancy name you put on it, no one deserves. This is not 1902, 1855. This ain't none of that. None of that. 1940, none of that. So to see that, I'm like, oh my God, that is going on now.
Mhm.
And to see what they was just trying to get water and food for their families, trying to get away. And to understand that the laws that are in place for situations like that, but it was not executed at all, but instead, that was executed, but not what's really in place legally, a part of the Constitution that they actually created, not us.
Mhm.
Everybody know what I mean by that. You
Mhm.
know, to not exercise the rights that are legally in place, I was speechless. It took me a minute to absorb that because I'm like, I can't believe that there are mindsets, and these people do not look like super old, the ones on the horses. They do not look super old, if you know what I mean. So they are a product of those ancestors and those old parents of theirs that taught them this malicious, or that, where that seed carry over into them because they're not that old. Look at them. They're on a horse too. Look at them. So to have that type of mindset, they're all human beings, just different colors, but they're all human. I can't even fathom. I can't even imagine even getting into an argument. My mind never go to let me raise my hand and hit you, or I'm gonna grab a pot or something. Only if my life is in danger. You know what I'm saying? And then there's something for that. But just because someone is trying to run for safety, try to get something to eat, trying to survive, and you're gonna treat them like that, I really have some words for that. Go ahead, Queen A. Tell me your thoughts on that.
So, I always look at two sides of a story. That's
Mhm.
very inhuman what they've done.
Extremely.
Um, and it just takes us back to, like, back in the days and back in history, how they treated certain people. And it's like we're seeing more and more hate, hate crimes and situations like this where is they treating different cultures and nationalities
Mhm.
indifferent. So that's kind of alarming, and it just goes to show, like, what are we entering into. But one
Mhm.
thing I would say is that in that situation, if they're not, I don't know, of course they should have been trained, but in that situation where you see them coming, you see immigrants coming over, what do you do in that situation? So, like, what I'm thinking, what
There's
could
laws in place. Hmm.
Right. So what could they have done differently, like just to try to prevent them from coming into the U.S. border? So
Right.
what could they have done differently? So in that situation, how they handled it was absolutely like insane.
Yeah.
But it's like in their mind, they're probably thinking like, okay, well, they just look to kind of beat them and just do whatever. For one, I believe because they immigrants, but two, they're probably like, well, what do we do in this situation? The first reaction that comes to mind is just, beat them with a damn whip, which is kind of
Mhm.
crazy. But I was listening to Kamala Harris, she's on The View the other day, and she spoke about all of the laws that they had in place. They actually do have a lot of things that they're doing to assist the immigrants.
Mhm.
But it's like it's so much going on that it's kind of challenging to have a control over that. It goes back to Trump when he mentioned about the wall. And I'm like, he made a big deal. Now that's very interesting because he made a big deal about the wall. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden now you're starting to see a lot of things happen in place concerning the this border and the walls and immigrants trying to come over. And guess what? And they have so much going on in their country. One thing um Kamala said was she said we need to do better as Americans. So she
Yes.
said in Haiti, in Haiti, they just had their president who died. They had a hurricane. They have so much going on. So kind of be understanding to what they're going through. And she said we need to have something where we can do better and be better and help them out so they don't want, they don't have to travel across the water and travel here, there and go
Right.
through, extreme situations just to have food, just to have a healthy
Yeah.
way of living. So Haiti is really going through a lot. That's a lot
Yeah.
of countries that's going through so much. And as Americans, what can we do? Even the U.S., what can we do more of to support them where it's not
Yeah.
so hard on them? So
Yeah. Serious K, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, the atmosphere of this country is just it's we're going backwards instead of
yeah,
forward.
Yeah.
yeah,
Especially when it comes to the racism
hmm
and just the way we're treating each other and we're treating our fellow countries, the people of the other countries, the immigrants that's coming over here. Like you say, they're coming over here. They need food. They need water. Why can't we do an airdrop?
right,
Do an
Yeah.
airdrop. Have the military do an airdrop, drop food and
yes,
drop water over there. Do something to help those people because I mean, the Haitians, they've been going through for a long time.
yeah,
Yeah.
And that's what they want. They want the same things that we have over here. They don't want to come over here and steal and kill and because that was the climate of the last administration. That's the climate that they said here. That's what they said that, the immigrants did. So I'm sure those people being people of color, darker skin tone, I'm sure they
right,
believe that too. And
right,
Yeah.
that was very inhumane. When I saw them on those horses, it's like
Extremely.
they were driving cattle. You
Ooh.
know, those
right,
are
Mhm.
people. They're not animals. I
hmm
Yes.
mean, just talk to them and tell them, hey, you got to go back over here. What do you need? Give them what they need and then send them back on their way if you have to. Because they said one man, he just wanted to cross over just to get his family food and water and take it back over because, they were scared to swim. I guess they couldn't swim or whatever. But they just want the same benefits that we have over here.
yes,
They don't want to hurt anybody. They don't. Not saying that some of them aren't criminals or whatever, but I'm just saying the majority of those people they just want and need help, and they
Yeah.
know the United States is the land of the free. The
Yeah.
United States is a rich country, and we can afford to help those people, even if it's to airdrop MREs. Give those people help.
hmm
Absolutely. And we all know the beautiful Amanda Sears, she is Black Power
Love
and
it.
Miss Black History. Miss Black History. And if you follow her, I follow her. I love her.
Mhm.
So yes, she's outspoken, but she speaks the truth. Okay.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's a little hard and whatever, but she speaks the truth. She knows, what is going on in the world, not just, in our world, but in the world. And
right,
she posted them. It was a repost. It wasn't her exactly, but it was a repost. She posted from someone that educated us a little bit that didn't understand what Haiti has actually done for the U.S. And it was like six different things. And I won't go through everything, but six different things. If you want to check her out, go to Amanda Seals' Instagram. And she educated. You got to go down a few because, she posts a lot throughout the day, keeping everyone informed and doing her thing. She has a lot going on herself. But she posts some information about what Haiti has actually done for the U.S. And then for
hmm
us not to have their back, and we know what they're going through. Let's not play dumb. We saw those signs where some of those Haitians had asylum. on
Mhm.
their big board, their big car, or a big, piece of board where they're
Mhm.
walking, they're like, hey, asylum. They were seeking asylum. And I just want to mention at least one or two things that was posted on Amanda Seals' Instagram about what Haiti has done. First of all, this was like the late 1700s, it was one of the richest colonies in the world, making more money than the entire Spanish Empire. When the
Mm.
USA was battling against the English during their revolution, France, after making their wealth off of Haiti, gave 9 billion to the USA in assistance. This money was instrumental in winning the war. Without Haitians, money there or have money that money USA would not have any independence. That was a little typo from whoever posted that. But in other words, if Haitians hadn't helped out monetarily, there would be no independence. So that's just a few of the things. There's a list of things that the Haitians has done for the or has helped out, when it concerns the USA. And for us not to be able to help them out or even implement some of the laws that we actually have in place, not
Mhm.
them, but that we have in place. And then just to educate on what asylum means, because some people probably really just don't know. Well,
Mhm.
yeah, they had asylum seeking, we're seeking
Yeah.
asylum. They have every right to people that are arriving at the US border. That's where they were at, having the right to request asylum without being criminalized. Ooh, turned back or separated from their children, even during a pandemic. And then it explains, and this is from the website rescue.org. Rescue.org. You can find out exactly what that meant, what they were trying to do. All they was trying to do was survive and seek some
Mhm.
help from the country that is, as serious case say, the land of the free. Ain't
Mhm.
no more slavery. And I don't think slavery, I know that's one thing. Slavery ain't, now it may be mentally. I would definitely say that, that it still goes
Mhm.
on mentally. But physically, try
Well,
to
you
hit
know what?
a USA millennial with a whip and see what happens.
Okay.
Just try and see what
You
happens. Go
know,
ahead, Queen.
no, so the U.S., it was built on immigrants.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
so but it's just it's just so interesting that we really got to pray more, because you just see so much, like, so much, like we had the Black Lives Matter, then we had the Asian hate crime, now we have the Haitians being mistreated, and
Yes.
and I believe we're going to see a lot more. So
Mhm.
we really got to brace ourselves and just
Yeah, we do.
stay prayed up and do our part,
Yes.
individually as well as a community, to support one another. And it's so important, because what's going on is just insane.
Yeah. Very
Yeah.
insane. That's the key thing. Stay prayed up and
Yeah.
always be ready, because you can definitely win in the spirit, in many ways. And like I said, hey, what you guys are doing, like, wow, I just cannot wait till we get into our Patreon to just understand, like, and I was watching a national television TV show again, mention, they mentioned, as far as I know, that person never professed that they're a Christian or anything. I don't know if they are. I'm not here to judge that person, but they never confessed that. But they even said themselves, they think they're going to get away with what they've done to those Haitians, how they set up there and beat them, but they're not going to get away with that. She said that on national television. They will
Mhm.
not get away with that. And it's so right. Like, you think you're going to get away with that. You're not going to get, I don't know those men that were on the horses. They have children, family. But think about if that was your family and you're sitting
Mhm.
back and you're watching, because they were hitting at, particular Haitians or whatever, and some was walking that way and the guy was running, and then we saw the lady with the kid. And you see your family getting abused for no reason at all. And you
Yeah.
think life is going to go on and you're going to be okay and absolutely nothing is going to happen to you. We're going to have a show about karma.
Yeah.
Have a
But
light
it's important to understand the times that you're in and understand where you are in your life. So I let me tell you, yeah, I want to get on Patreon, because that platform, as soon as we get some people, we're gonna start Patreon very soon. We're waiting for you all to come on in, and guess what? It's gonna be gifts. So when you
Yes.
join,
Mhm.
is going to be doing gift giving. We're going to get into some deep topics, some heavy topics, some topics that we can't share here that we definitely want to share with you all. And it deals with so many different topics, from understanding the times, to relationships, to my favorite topic, y'all. You know what that
Oh,
is. And
God.
just understanding your partner, your mate, understanding God. It's so many fascinating things. You get to ask us questions. We can answer your questions. And look, it's gonna be. We have some very gifted ladies here, y'all. So you want to definitely get in and join Patreon.
And October is going to be an exciting, interesting month for all of us. So, just pay attention to our posts, and we're going to have a lot of fun in the month of October. So, just get ready for that. So, let's move on, ladies, and let's come up a little bit. Let's talk about something a little lighter. We can go deep, but it's going to be a good deep. It's going to be a lighter
Let's
deep.
talk about sex, baby.
Oh, let's talk about sex. We don't have a show about that.
You know what? I joke joking. I should have been a sexologist to study sex
You
because
still
I just love the topic. So
yes, yes. And you still can be that. You still can be that. You still can be that. Let's definitely move on. We want to. This is a very interesting topic, and we're talking about. And Serious K, help me out with the second part of the topic. But however, I'm going to start off with the beginning of the topic. And this is about coming back to meet yourself and seeing if you and wanting to know if you will actually like yourself. So think about you right now. So let's all of us, H&B fam, co-hosts, let's all think about Coach Shalonda, Sirius K, Queen A. Think about yourself individually. If you were to leave this earth and you come back and you were to meet you, Sirius K, you were to meet Sirius K. Queen A, you were to meet Queen A. Coach Shalonda, you were to meet Coach Shalonda. Would you actually like you? Would you befriend you? And what's the second part of that topic, Sirius K?
Do you think you did yourself justice?
Oh God.
Or you did your life justice?
that's a deep question, y'all.
Oh my God. So who going to start off answering this question?
Well, Sirius K, let's start with you.
Oh, well. Yes, of course. I would like myself. I would love myself. Now, would there be some parts of me that I would change as far as my character? Because my stubbornness, I talk about that all the time. I'm working on it. I'm stubborn, very stubborn, because sometimes I want to do things my way. You may tell me to do it this way, but let me try my way first, and then we'll do it your way. Okay. And so my way may not come out right, but that's okay. I got a chance to try my way.
That's
But
right.
based on as far as do I feel like I did myself any justice or my life any justice? Yeah, I did, because I was a teen mom, and statistically, only about 50% of teen mothers graduate high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I continued. I graduated high school. In spite of all of my adversities and all the things that I went through, I've seen some people that have gone through some of the things that I've gone through. They resorted to drugs, and, they gave up, and they just did not do well in life. They look 10 times younger or 10 times older than what they really are, because they lived such a hard life, because they couldn't deal with the adversities and all the things that were thrown at them. And they kind of listened to other people saying, oh no, you can't do this, you can't do that, because people from the hood, because I came from the hood. I grew up in the hood, but my mother didn't raise us that way.
Right.
Inside of our home, it was totally different. But when I walked out that door, I was in the hood. Okay.
Right.
So, and I raised my kids the same way. So, you don't have to be a product of your environment.
Yes.
So, I say that I did do my life justice. I did do myself justice. It was hard. It was a hard journey. There was so many times I wanted to give up. So many times that I wanted to just throw the towel in and say, you know what, forget it. I can't do this. I'm not supposed to have this. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth. I'm not supposed to, have this, because, you think that people that you grew up with, they had it all. And you like, yeah, I'm not gone, because, they had this. You make up excuses. They mama was this, and they mama had money, and they mama knew people. And you have to get up and you have to get out there and you have to find the resources on your own and you have to do what you have to do to reach your goals and have a successful life. There's no excuses. I didn't make any excuses for myself. I
Yeah.
would be proud of myself. I would be happy to be my friend. Now, and another thing now I probably would get on me about, little girl, stop giving so much. Say no sometimes. Say no sometimes. It's so hard for me to say no. I would
Oh,
probably beat myself up about that. But other than that, yeah, I'm good. I turned out okay.
Queen A, honey, what about you? Would you just love Queen A?
I'd be honest, it took me a while to fall in love with myself. Just life and just the challenges of life and but I would definitely say if I came back and met myself, I would absolutely love Kaneen. So,
Oh,
of course, like Sirius K said, of course, I have some things that I need to work out. One thing, of course, is the stubbornness. Like God is, but life lessons has taught me like get rid of that stubbornness and the ego. My ego was ridiculous, but life has taught me like I had to learn to let go of the ego. And so, thank God that I have dealt with that and worked on that. But I would absolutely love Kaneen because just the person that I am, the person that she is, and the person
mhm.
that she's become and becoming. So yeah, I would definitely love it. Now, what I would say, I have to say this though, because I was listening to Sirius K and I'm just so I was smiling the whole time because it's interesting, right? Because it's like everything is so prophetic, right? And I'm listening at as we evolve in life, we should always be evolving. Not everybody evolves, but we should always be evolving.
Clearly.
So it's very prophetic, right? We were doing this show. We were having, at the beginning of the show, you see, our theme, our introduction, and it has what each of us represent, right? Supposedly that's how the guy did it. So it was very
Mhm.
interesting because um Coach Shalonda's her is renewing, the heart, like and mine is renewing the mind. And yeah, so healing the heart. And this is very interesting because it seemed like that's what we're kind of going
Represent.
through in life. And Series K is through the power of transparency. So
Yeah.
Series K mentioned she was always secretive, but I'm watching her evolve and I'm like, she's coming out of her shell and she's being more open, being more talkative, sharing. And it's just so interesting how things are so prophetic. And it's just I just watch how God moves. So I like what we are becoming. And if I
Mhm.
was to come back and meet each and every one of you, I'll be so happy because it's a good thing. Now, of
Yeah.
course, we all got to work on some of our flaws, and that's just life. We always
That's
evolve and we
like, yeah.
have to, right? But
Mhm.
one thing I would say, it's definitely I made a lot of mistakes and sometimes it's hard to forgive myself for the mistakes that I've made. And even now when I think about it, sometimes it's just hard to deal with. So but if I was to come back and I can do it differently, I would absolutely do it differently. But still learning and still forgiving myself for certain mistakes and errors that I have made. But absolutely, I would love to come back and be Kaneen's best friend.
Oh, now,
Mhm.
did you answer that second part? What was it, Kim? Did you do yourself do justice?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, I don't think, again, I'm still evolving. I
Mhm.
I am a very inspirational, motivational person. I love to inspire people. Like I
Yeah.
love to support and help. I'm like Serious K, like but although I've learned to get, I mean, I was a serious giver to the point where I don't have nothing. I that's
Mhm.
that change. I'm no longer that anymore.
Right.
So, one thing I would say is I did not do myself justice as I would have liked. Now I'm very hard on myself, so that could just be me speaking and being hard on myself. But I accomplished some things that I definitely want to accomplish in life. But my whole thing is I want to inspire so many people. I have inspired, I have supported, I have coached people, and I have healed and helped people. So that I'm happy for that. But as many people as I would like to touch. I definitely want to do it on a larger scale. So, yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so moving on to the next
No,
topic.
no,
Oh
no,
no,
no, no,
honey,
no,
you
no,
didn't.
no.
You didn't
I
answer the
would
question.
definitely say, well, I would definitely say if I were to come back and meet Shalonda, 100%, I would want to be Shalonda's friend. Um, 100% because of my traits and what I represent. I would definitely want to be my best friend. I am, it's something that I pride myself on as far as how I am as a best friend and as a great friend, a good friend, and how, I think about, and friends, having friends will make you, self reflect and think about yourself and how you are as a friend, whether they're good friends, bad friends, they will make you think about how you are as a friend. And so that is something that I definitely pride myself off of, and that's loyalty. Like that is so huge for me, and it's something that I always, appreciate and like within myself because I am huge on loyalty, and that's something that I'm great at. Being loyal to someone and being that true friend, being honest, and a lot of times, I've heard this plenty of times, and I don't need a choir, Queen A, but I've heard this plenty of times that, oh, you can be so hard. Yeah, you may be telling the truth, but it's just the way that you deliver it. But anyway,
Yes.
At least if that dress is ugly, you heard it from your best friend first.
But it's the way you say it.
That's how it's supposed to be. Now, Kaneen, you sound like Kaneen. Now, Kaneen sound like my family. That's what they tell me. They always say, "Oh Lord, it's just the way you say stuff." I'm like, well, how am I supposed to say it?
But you don't have to say it like that. Oh, I
You
hear
don't
that.
say it like that.
No, because some people be like, "What's okay? Why you look like that today? Okay, why you got to say it like that?"
What's wrong with you?
Oh, that's a trigger for me. That's a trigger.
Oh, that's right. It is.
Yes.
Things like that. It's like at least like I am that friend. I'm that friend that's gonna tell you if I say you're the bomb, trust me, you are the bomb. If I say, and I don't know why I can't do this for me, that's why I would be my best friend. So sometimes I can know the truth. But if I say that that person right there, watch them. And sometimes I can say that because I'm a great discerner. I'm a great, what is a character reader?
Oh God, yeah.
Telling people, understanding a person and won't even know their name, but I can just, it's just an innate gift that I have that I can
Yes.
tell you, like, that's not a good person. Or you might want to reconsider. And,
Oh, listen, it happened to me, y'all. Like, I was going out on a date before, like a while ago, and I told her about the person and everything, and she just was like, absolutely not. And she was like mean about it, like, girl, don't even waste your time. I'm like, but just listen. Like, I wanted to talk about it. She got so upset. I'm like, why you got to respond in that way? We ended up hanging up the phone on each other. We were mad, and she was so right. And I'm like, oh, I hate when you right. Every single time this girl hit it on the nail. And I tell you, like, I mean, she was so right without with the person. I just was like, why the hell did I waste my time?
yeah, yeah.
And she has proven right every single time.
Yeah, and it's just a gift. It's no magic. It's none of that. It is just a gift from our dear Heavenly Father. That's it. I know that I've helped, so many people in that area, as far as friends, pretty bad, pretty bad. But when it comes to friends, and if I tell you that when I see that for myself, and if I've even my mom can even testify to it when she was in the comments or watching, tuning in, but she's probably busy. But even my mom can testify to it. She have always told, oh, my mom deal with a lot of nurses, and I pray none of them are watching. But anyway, she deal with a lot of nurses, and so she's always like, hey. I'm gonna see you a picture, or hey, I want you to meet this person. I want you to tell me what you think about them. And it's 99% of the time, I'm always right. And I take no credit for that. So I would absolutely like to come back and love myself and become my friend because I'm telling you, some of the mistakes. Now, moving to some of the decisions that I made. Go ahead.
You feel like you did your life justice.
I feel like I cheated myself a lot because had I been such a great reader as I am for my friends and my family, I would not have made the mistakes that I made. I would not have made the marriage choices that I made. I would not have, I wouldn't even be here in Texas. But but just a lot of things that the choices that I made. I don't know. I probably would be in Texas because this is where I found
Well,
the
that's
Lord.
normally how it is. People that are seers, those of us that are seers, we can't see it for ourselves, but we can see it for other people. It's
That
almost like
part,
snake. People always say, "Well, why she can't see it for herself? Why she can't do that?" You can see it in other people, but you can't. I guess that's for God to reveal to you, or maybe another seer to reveal. You know.
reveal. Yeah, so
And
that's
you
the
know
part I
what?
made.
But you
Yeah,
know
go ahead.
what? I This is a good topic, y'all, that we got to talk about one day. So, do you rule with your heart or do you rule with your mind? So,
Your
because a
heart.
lot of choices, right? And sometimes we have to learn how to rule with our mind. Like you mentioned about your marriage, you wouldn't have made the choices that you've made. Like I'm a very logical person. I feel very deeply, but I go off of mind, off of logic. I analyze a lot. I'm learning how to connect more to my heart space, and sometimes like I can be in love and deny it. But sometimes also, because I felt like in the past, love blinded me, and so because of that, I became very analytical, very logical. So that's a good question and a topic to, do you allow in relationships, do you allow the mind or do you allow the heart to control, what choices you make in life when it comes to anything or relationships?
And that's so true. Just so you know, HMV fam, I'm so glad you mentioned that, Queen A, because I am writing a book, The Headless Marriage, how we go into our marriage and we are going in all heart. I mean, I'm so in love, and he is this and she is that. And if I tell you, so many of us have made that mistake. And not to say
Mhm.
that you don't go in it with your heart, but sometimes you got to take your mind with you. You cannot
And
leave
Yeah.
your mind.
sometimes, because some people are afraid to connect to their heart, so they
Yeah,
allow their mind to rule because they're like, this doesn't
Mhm.
make sense.
right.
Because
So
I know I've done
understanding that
that.
balance.
Right. So it's
Absolutely.
like,
So
so they
yeah.
Yeah.
disconnect from the heart because they're like, well, logically, this doesn't make sense. So
Yeah.
it's a very good topic. I can't wait to explore
Yes.
this topic. And your
Yes.
Yes.
book,
Because I'm
too.
like that with certain things.
Yeah.
I'm like that with certain things, and that's why I'm so guarded
Hmm.
Yeah.
because I don't like to let people in my heart. So sometimes I just use my mind because I'm like, I
Yeah.
ain't letting you in. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's a
So
good topic to talk about why we do that. Why
yeah.
we lead with our mind more than our heart, or the vice versa. So
So we're
very
gonna
Mhm.
we're gonna have those topics. We're gonna break down my book, on this show. We're gonna talk about, give you just enough to get the book and finish reading it, and not only read it but apply it to your lives. Because if I tell you, God has taken me through some experience and how everything just crumbled down in my life, and how it's just God is just it's building layer after layer after layer. And I would always say, I can't finish this book. There's no ending. And Queen A would always say, just start writing the book. The end will come. I promise you that. And another thing about for authors, for those that are inspired or have an aspiration or have an inspiration to become an author, just know that if you're writing a book, if it's not like a creative story, like maybe you want to write about this scary story about someone, or you want to write just a love story about, something, maybe you're that more so of the creative author, but not so much as the bio author or autobio author. You want to share your life, you want to write a memoir. Just know that you will relive everything. You will relive your entire story. So understand, it may not be in the exact same way that you're writing how it happened, but you will experience that, and it would be in a way to where you can reconnect to what actually happened, and it makes that story all the more effective and all the more identifiable. So just know that when you're writing your memoir, writing a story about something in your life, it not only heals you and help you, but it also heals that reader and helps that reader. So it may not be the season for certain people or whatever, but just know this is a world. And you write a book, it is for the world. And someone somewhere in this world needs to hear that story, because all of us have been guilty of, we buy books and we don't read them at that time, but we're go through a season to
Yes.
where that book will transform our life. And I know it happens to me all the
Seasons.
time. I have a library.
And by to that point, I just want to mention, because we here is very important, because we are all business owners here, but also authors as well. So
Yeah.
I am a book coach. So I help others write their books. So if
Mhm.
you're looking to write a book, if you're looking to just find some type of inspiration, definitely want to go to KaneenMorgan.com. And I have a book called Finding Your Way. So you definitely want to, go ahead and look on Amazon for that as well. And I definitely like to support writers and give you some type of inspiration, some type of direction. I have some stuff that's free for you. If you want to know how to write a book, a template for a book, I have all of that. So go to KaneenMorgan.com and just go and contact me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, everybody's putting it out there. My website is shalondanorman.com. My book that's out right now is Life Interrupted. I have quite a few books. Just go to the store on the website, you'll see quite a few books. I also have products. Just send me a quick chat, and I will let you into my life. I have a lot of things in store for you. Here's thank you about your information.
Well, listen, I got a book coming soon. I don't have the date yet.
Right.
We're gonna get
I
her
don't have the
ready.
date yet, but I
Look,
do
we
have a
have-
website. If y'all like costume jewelry, I do have a website,
Oh, your hair done.
www.otjewelry.com.
I'm
And
sorry,
I'm
say it
also a
again.
hairstylist. Instagram at Salon Mocha.
Yes, yes, that's right.
So, but anyway, yeah, I have a book that I am working on. So the deadline is supposed to be next year, July. I don't know because you guys also know that I'm in school. So
Yes,
I'm working on that. I'm typing that and I'm writing papers at the same time, but it's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
yes.
That's
And
right.
I love that we put it out there because that way the audience holds us account. Once we put it out into the world, to the universe, like now we have to accomplish it. So I'm glad that
Mhm.
you said it's coming. And we all have some books in the works and some businesses that's coming, right? So
That's
I'm
Yeah.
right.
glad. Mhm.
So this has been a great show, y'all.
Yes.
We love you, HMB fam. Thank you every single Saturday for being so faithful and coming in, tuning in, and hearing these, conversations, whether they're deep, fun, enlightening, in every capacity. We thank you very much. And we have some great things in store for you. So just please tune into the chat, join our Patreon. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. We will take very good care of you. Be sure to like our subscribe to our YouTube page as well, and share with others. Definitely share with others because you may say, okay, yeah, I got that, I'm good on that, but your neighbor may not be good on it. So definitely share with your neighbors, with your friends and your family, whomever you know. Share with them. Say, hey, you want to hear some conversations that can transform your life? Can heal that heart and renew that mind all through truth. Check out the Heart Mind Connection. We love y'all. Stay tuned to next week. Right now, we are out. Good
Good
night.
night.